Hi, I'm Sean from Makita UK and I'm here with UK Planet Tools today. Today what I'm here to discuss is the brand new releases from Makita in November. Personally, I think this is an absolutely fantastic release that we've just had in November. We've got all the tools ranging from 18 volt to 40 volt. We've got an 18 volt angle impact all the way up to your 40 volt rebar tie and cutter. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk to you about some of the tools in more details. So let's dive in. Let's talk to you all about the TD004 new 40 volt impact driver from Makita. As you guys can see, it is on the 40 volt range and it will fit anything of the 2.5 all the way up to our 8 amp batteries. What we recommend though is the 2.5 amp or the 4 amp batteries. That will keep the machine nice and lightweight, however, giving you the same power you desire. With this impact, it does have 4 stages of impact. So this will be great for your applications. If you're drilling into softwood, hardwood, if you need a little bit more accuracy or anything not. This works in conjunction with a variable trigger as well. So the harder you press the trigger, the more speed it's going to deliver as well. With the 4 stages of impact, for example, if you're using Phillips screws, what you want to do is turn that down to sort of level 1 or level 2. That way you're not stripping the screw head or you're not damaging the bit itself. With that as well, you do have a T mode. What that T mode is for screwing into thin sheet material, so you're not de-threading the screws at all. Working your way up the machine, obviously forward and reverse like a normal impact driver does. It has got a brushless motor inside as well, so that's packing out an incredible 230 Newton meters of power, which is 10 Newton meters greater than the previous model, the TD002. So with that 230 Newton meters, it definitely is designed for your heavy duty work. As you can see by the top as well, it is a lot more heavy duty than the previous model. You've then got on the front, you've got your hex drive, as normal impact drivers do. The great benefit to this one is it is a one-touch installation. Instead of having to pull the collet up and push the bit in, you can just easily push it in straight away. That's great for, let's say you're holding your piece of material, you've got that on your belt loop or it's sitting down, you've obviously only got one hand free so you can't pull and push. All you have to do, push it in and then you're away, you can do the job you need to do. So that's a great little feature as well. It has got the light at the front, which you can actually turn off and on if you want it. So if you don't want the light on there, if you're blinding people or anything like that, you can turn it off. That's being the new 40 volt TD004 impact from Makita. So now we got the brand new 40 volt combi drill from Makita. This here is the HP003. As you can see, it's got a 2.5 amp battery on it. However, it will also fit the 8 amp battery and all the in between. We recommend either the 2.5 or the 4 amp to keep it nice and lightweight. It has got a massive full LED light on the front, which you can just pull the trigger and it lights up, illuminating that work area. It has also got a feature that if you press the button, the light then will stay on for 1 hour, which means you can set that to a side and just use it as a torch if you need it to do, or you can press a button and it turns itself off. My personal favorite with this one is the 3 speed settings on the top. So if you guys are Makita fans, you probably realize that we used to do 3 speeds and then we moved to the 2 speed settings. However, with this being a lot more powerful now, the speed increasing, we now have got your 3 speed settings. So obviously speed 1 is great for your low speed but high torque applications. Go down to number 3, that would be for your high speed, low torque applications. And then you've got a great compromise in the middle with medium speed, medium impact, which means it'll be great for your high, heavy duty use, whilst also maintaining that speed as well. Obviously with this being a combi drill, you still have your hammer percussion mode, you still have your drilling mode, and then you have your screwdriver mode. With the screwdriver mode, we have got a digital clutch setting. In speed setting 1, you have 41 clutch settings. In speed setting 2, you have 30 clutch settings, and in speed setting 3, you have 25 clutch settings. So the reason we've got the clutch settings is so that when you're screwing into timber, you finish them screws at the same depth across all the timber, so they're nice and even. It is a brushless motor. It packs out an incredible 180 Newton meters of torque, so pretty impressive. It will do 20 mil into steel and masonry, and then if you've got a hole saw bit into wood, it will do a massive 152 mil hole saw bit. So it is an absolutely incredible combi kit to add to the range of the 40 volt. Inside this, it does have AFT built in, which stands for Active Feedback Technology. What that means is, if the drill recognises a torque's going to be too high and it's going to twist your wrist, it will just cut out automatically. So I'll demonstrate that here. You pull the trigger down. What you saw there is it was going to turn my wrist, however the AFT inside it stopped that, which means it's protected my wrist and everything like that. In the box, it does come with a side handle, which obviously must be fitted for health and safety reasons. And it has also got your metal chuck, obviously as it's for heavy duty. So that's been the new 40 volt combi HP 003 from Makita. Now let's dive into the 18 volt angle impact wrenches from Makita. So in front of me here, I have the DTL 300, which is your 1/2 inch drive, C-ring and pin dent. We also do have the DTL 302, which is your 3/8 inch drive with a C-ring. So what we'll do is we'll talk you through the DTL 300 and it'll be exactly the same for the 302. On our 18 volt range, we have been crying out for one of these for a very long time. Just in case you didn't sort of know what an angle impact wrench is, it's great for mechanics, agricultural workings, if you've got tractors, lorries, plant hire, anything like that. As you can see, it is very thin at the top, so it packs an incredible punch like your impact wrench, but it is lightweight and the size is nice and easy to fit into them small gaps and small areas. So that's what your angle impact wrench will be used for: mechanics, plant hire, tractors, anything like that. Has got a nice slim grip at the front, so you can get your hand all the way around it, and it also does have a variable trigger on it as well. It does have 3 stages of impact on there as well, so depending on the nut busting and the fastening that you need, you can turn that down to the application you need as well. It also does have the A mode, so what that stands for is auto stop system. So on these angle impacts, if you're on forward mode, as soon as it recognizes that impact, it will cut out, which is great for temporarily fastening those nuts and bolts. And then in reverse, what it will do is hard impact at the start and then it will cut out, which means you're not at risk of losing that nut on the bolt, so it won't fall down, especially if you're working at height or if you're working in muddy environments, or if you're in a mechanic shop where things go missing. It means that you can just de-thread that nut nice and easily. With a brushless motor, it is nice and efficient as well. It does pack out 340 Newton meters of fastening torque and 530 Newton meters of nut busting torque. So for such a great machine that's nice and lightweight and durable, it does pack a punch. That's been the new 18 volt angle impact wrenches from Makita. So here we're going to talk about the new XGT 40 volt die grinders from Makita. Here in front of me, I've got the GD001, which is the slide switch version, and we also do have a GD002, which is the paddle switch version. The only difference in them two machines is the paddle and the slide switch. You can use them the same, exactly the same features and benefits, and exactly the same performance. So it all depends on your personal preference. With these being on the 40 volt machine, they will fit anything from your 2.5 amp all the way up to your 8 amp. What we recommend is your 2.5 or your 4 amp to keep that nice lightweight design about them as well. If you see on the front, it does have a variable dial, which will go all the way down from number 1 all the way up to 5. Number 1 providing 7,000 RPM, which is great for your polishing or your finishing. You then go up to 2, which is great for your paint removal, going up to 3 for rust removal, and then you go up to your 4 and your 5, which provides 29,000 RPM, which is great for your grinding or your deburring of inside pipes or anything like that. You then have got a nice, soft, small ergonomical grip, which with a 2.5 amp does feel nice and lightweight and does feel balanced in your hand as well. So that's probably the battery to go for. This one, obviously being a slide switch, it does have that lock-on feature, and obviously you're off. With your paddle switch, obviously it doesn't have the lock-on feature. A lot of people say that's safer because you have to have your hand on that paddle switch to operate, especially with a die grinder. It does have an electrical brake, which means when you depress that trigger or take it off, it does stop automatically, so you're not harming any of the material. It also does come with a brushless motor, which is our most efficient motors being brushless. Working your way up to the top, it does have your spindle lock. So if you're changing the collet or you're changing the piece of application, hold down the spindle lock and you can undo it with a wrench and then change it as it comes. This collet is a 6mm collet as it comes as standard. However, you can get optional accessories which will take that down to a 3mm collet or bring it up to an 8mm collet, depending on what you're after. At the front, if I turn it on, you can see there, it does have 3 LED lights as well, which means when it does get into them tight spaces, you can get visibility with them lights. So a safety feature that the die grinders have is called AFT. This is similar to our combi drills. What that stands for is active feedback technology. So that means if the die grinder was to ever snag or get caught up on anything, the motor will just cut out, which keeps you safe from it flying out of your hands. Also, another feature is the anti-restart. So if you had it on and your battery was to die, if you replace the battery there, you can see it automatically doesn't turn on. You have to manually switch it off and then back on again. This has been the new XGT GD001 die grinder from Makita. Now let's talk about the new 40-volt heat gun from Makita. This is the HG001, the bigger brother to the 18-volt version, the DHG181. It will fit any of the 40-volt batteries from 2.5 to the 8 amp. What we sort of recommend is your 2.5 amp or your 4 amp battery. That will keep it nice and lightweight, however, giving you the heat that you need. It has got an LED light at the bottom. Just push the trigger on and it does light up. That's great for your dim environment lights. With the trigger, as you can see, it does look a bit funny. It does have a safety trigger, so you can't accidentally turn it on by accident. All you have to do is to press that one, push it in, and then it turns itself on. A great benefit to this one over competitors is that it does have a lock-on feature as well. So if I wanted to get to max temperature, rather than me standing there holding down the trigger and waiting, I can lock it on, set that to the side, allow it get to temperature. I can then do what I need to do, come back to it, and it's all ready to go. It does have on the back a lovely belt loop, so if it is hot or cold or anything like that, you can hang it out the way, let it cool down, let it heat up, do what you need to do. A lovely big feature as well is the big bright LED screen on the top as well. So it will go down from 50 degrees all the way up to 600 degrees. And with these 2 buttons on the side, you can either press them, which will go up in increments of 10, or down in increments of 10, or you can hold it and it will go all the way up to 600 degrees being the max. Once you are finished with the machine, what you have to do is press the low button, hold that all the way down until it comes up with cool, okay? You'll then set that to the side, let that cool down naturally, rather than just putting the battery out. That puts a lot of pressure on that heating element. So let it cool down nice and easily. It does have also a button on the side as well. That would be your 4 stages of blowing as well. So 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So it is quite powerful in the blowing aspect as well. To serve runtime and speeds, what we tend to say is if you're reaching maximum temperature, you want the fan on the lowest to keep that heat nice and sauce around here. If you want to cool it down, put that fan onto high so that it's blowing all that hot air away, which will cool it down faster. So with that being said, how long does it take to get to temperature? With you're using a 2.5 or 4 amp battery or any of the 40-volt ranges, it does very much depend on the environment you're using, on the blowing speed and stuff like that. However, we've tested it, and with an ambient temperature of 12 degrees, so fairly cold, it reached 600 degrees in 2 minutes. Obviously that was max blowing as well. So with the blowing set to low, with a warmer temperature, if you put a nozzle on it as well, which will keep that heat in there, we reckon between 1 or 2 minutes it can get to max temperature. With a 4 amp battery, if you set it on max blowing up to 600 degrees, constant use, you're looking at about 20 minutes of runtime. Obviously bigger battery, you'll get more, blowing you'll get less if you don't need it at 600 degrees. So around 20 minutes at max power, you can work with that one. It does come with your 4 applications as well. Number 1 is your pipe bending application. Run the pipe up and down that, obviously it'll become nice and soft, you can bend it. It does then come with another application which disperses the heat from side to side. So that's great for shrink wrapping if you're doing parcels or presents or anything like that. This one here, the sort of half crescent one, that's great for your putty. If you've got old Victorian style windows that use putty around the outside, what that does is it allows the heat to disperse one side, but keeps the safety aspect the other side. So it protects the window and the glass from getting hot whilst allowing the heat to disperse. You then also got your sort of more controlled heat application here, which is great for your stickers on your vans. If you're buying new vans with stickers on, that will get that heat into that glue system. So as soon as you're peeling it away, obviously you can do that one. With these, they are just a push fit, so they just fit on nice and easily. Take them off, take them on. Obviously, with this being said, when you are using this at 600 degrees, they do get very hot. So rather than having to manhandle that, you can just pull the collet and it'll pop off nice and easily, meaning you don't have to handle obviously any of the hot material. So once this is finished, set that to the side on cooling mode and you're good to go. This has been the new XG001 heat gun from Makita. So here we've got the new First Fix 40 volt nail gun from Makita. In front of me here, I've got the BN001, which is for your clip head nails. And we've also released the BN002, which is for your full round head nails. Obviously the BN002 being your full round head nails, that's more for your structural integral work, as the full round head nails will keep a much stronger hold. With the clip head nails, they are still for strength as well. They're more of sort of your everyday use. As you guys can probably see if you've seen previous videos, earlier in the year we released the LXT First Fix nail gun, which was a DBN 900, and it is very similar to this machine. Obviously this machine being on the 40 volt system, it does pack a lot more power and a lot more punch behind this machine. So if you're looking at nailing into hardwood or pallet wood with several layers of ply, this is the nail gun for you. As I say, that 40 volt does increase that power. Same sort of operational features. You have got the on button at the top with the mode selector, single fire and bump fire. With the bump fire, it has increased the speed, being on a 40 volt. You will get 4 rounds per second on this gun, whereas it was 3 rounds per second on the DBN 900, so a lot quicker. You've also got your toolless depth of changement here, and you've still got your job light at the front as well. The magazine itself is angled at a 30 to 34 degree angle, and it will fit 58 nails in that magazine, ranging from anything between your 50mm or your 90mm nails. Just like the DBN 900, it does have your belt hook, and it also does have your rafter hook as well. So if you are looking for a First Fix nailer, especially on the XGT version, this will be the one to go for. This has been the BN001 40 volt framing nailer from Makita. So here we have the new narrow crown stapler on the LXT platform from Makita. So this here in front of me is the DST 630 narrow crown stapler. We've absolutely been crying out for one of these on the LXT system, as this is the first of its range. So as you can see down the bottom, fits the 18 volt batteries. With a 2 amp battery, it has an incredible workload and it will fire around 1800 staples off of a full charge. So you can see what it do with a 5 or 6 amps, absolutely incredible. It does have a brushless motor, so it is nice and lightweight and ergonomical, as you can see. However, with the brushless motor, it is that efficient and it does pack a punch. Narrow crown stapler, this is designed for your upholstery work, your furniture work, anything like that. If you're doing floorboards, this would be the tool for yourself. So let's get into it. We'll turn it on, hold the on button, and the green light comes up. Just like all the other nailers, it does have a single fire mode and a bump fire mode, so you can swap depending on the application that you need it to. It does have an LED job light at the front, so if you press the trigger down, the job light does illuminate. At the top here, it does have a soft nose tip, and it does also come with 2 extras, so if that does get damaged or scuffed, you can replace it easier. This being the narrow crown stapler, it will take your 18 gauge narrow crown staples, ranging from 9.5mm all the way up to 38mm. The magazine here has a capacity of 110 staples, and there are 100 in a strip. The reason that is we have anti-dry fire mechanism built into this machine, which means when it gets down to 6 staples, it reminds you that you've got to reload. It also protects the mechanism, and it means you're not firing any shot without a staple inside it. So you can always fit a full magazine in there at the same time. So this has been the new narrow crown stapler from Makita, the DST 630. So let's talk about the new 40 volt vacuum cleaner from Makita. This is the VC013. As you guys can probably see, it's a bit similar to the DVC750, which is an 18 volt version. We've now released it in the 40 volt version for those that are on the platform. So if we spin it around to the front, obviously this is your battery compartment in here. It does fit your 2.5 amps all the way up to your 8 amps. What we're recommending for this is your 5 amps or your 8 amps, your sort of higher output batteries for your longer run times. With a 5 amp battery in this, at max suction, constant speed, you're then talking about 20 minutes of runtime. So with that 8 amp, you're going to increase the runtime, obviously get more use out of it. So with the buttons at the front here, you've obviously got the auto function, which then engages our AWS system. So the AWS system is our Bluetooth system that talks to the power tool, and the vacuum turns on at the same time. You then spin it around to the other side. You've got your manual on button, which will turn it on the whole time. And then down the second one here, you've got your suction power. So with this one, it does have variable suction speed, so you can turn it down or increase it all the way to max. What that really does on this machine is it is increasing that runtime on that battery. So if you don't need it at max suction, don't use it at max suction and you'll increase the runtime. On maximum suction, this is pushing out about 15 kilopascals of suction power. The DVC750 is about 7 kilopascals, so this is double what the 18 volt version puts out. In real world talk, your stick vacs that you have at home, they're looking about 17 kilopascals, so this is 15. So very similar to a stick vac that you'd have in your house. On the top of this device, it does come with a 2 meter flexible hose, which you can detach and add onto the back, which then it becomes a blower, or you attach it to the front, which then it becomes the vacuum. If you wish, you can get a 5 meter hose. That is an optional extra, which will obviously give you a longer reach. It does come with your crevice nozzle, which is great for your hard to reach applications. And then it does also come with a nozzle which is great for your wet feature or great for carpets or upholstery. Because it has the air vents on the side, if you have it on your upholstery, it won't suck to the fabric. It will allow the air to escape whilst cleaning your fabric. So great for sort of car seats or anything like that. So what we'll do is we'll have a look inside this one. So we'll open it up and we'll flip it over. So we'll start with the base. With the DVC750, it just was a tub vac. With this one, obviously you can see it is bagged. However, you don't need to use the bag. You can take that off and just use it as a tub itself. Or if you do want the bag feature, it just fits in there like so. If you're not using the bag feature, let's say you take away the bag, obviously this orange device here can get lost. Most people sort of throw that away and lose it. However, if you look at the top of the base, there is a section for it, which it does clip in. So there's no way to lose it. You can keep it nice and safe. With this filter, obviously being a wet and a dry vac, it does come with your HEPA filter, and this is for your dry applications. So you're looking at about 7.5 litre space in here for your dry applications with this filter, or it does come with a wet filter which is black, and then that will turn this into a 4.5 litre tub for your wet applications. This is your standard HEPA filter, as I say, for dry. It does come with a dampener, so you just put that one on. And then it does come with a pre-filter bag, which most people will call it a shake-away bag or anything like that. And what that's doing is that is there protecting that HEPA filter from dust or anything like that, which means when you need to clean it, if you have got a bit dirty, all you have to do, take the pre-filter off, give that a shake, give that a dust off away from yourself, and then you can put it back on, and that HEPA filter has stayed nice and efficient. There is a rubber gasket around the outside, as you can see. That's gonna decrease the vibration of this machine, so when you're holding it, it's not vibrating in your hand, and it's also keeping the water and the dust in and out as well. When you put it back on top, put it on as you see, do the clips up either side, and then hey presto, you got yourself a 40 volt vacuum. As an optional extra, unlike the DVC750, you can get these jockey wheels which just fit onto the bottom. That makes it a lot more accessible around site. Talking about accessibility, it does come in the box with a shoulder strap as well. So you can just clip that on side to side and then obviously put that around your shoulder, making it nice and easy to carry. As this machine is just an L class classification, it is just a vacuum cleaner. To use a dust extractor on site in Makita, you have to have an M-class dust extractor. So as this is an L-class, it is classified as a vacuum cleaner. So great for cleaning up around site, cleaning any debris around site, in your car, anything like that. This has been the new VCO13 40 volt vac from Makita. So that has been the brand new release from Makita in November. As you can see, it's quite an exciting launch that we've had in November, with quite a few new machines that we haven't released before, and quite a few old machines that we have beefed up and made a bit better. So for any more detail, please visit the makitauk.com website, or if you wish to purchase, go to the UK Planet Tools website, or come on down to Milton Keynes to their new shop. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.